welcome to the Tech Space. And in this video, we're going to be going over CSGO's video options and how to optimize them for your video game. So what we're going to do first is something a little bit different. Just start up CSGO. Start up CSGO. Go to offline with bots, play offline with bots, and you're just going to want to do a deathmatch and put it on Dust 2 with harmless bots. So once this loads up, we'll go over what we're going to be doing in this video. Alright, so now that our game's loaded up, we're on Deathmatch, and we've loaded up on Dust 2 here. We're going to want to open our console. Make sure when you press Escape, go to Help and Options, go to Game Settings, make sure your developer console is enabled, make sure it says yes right here. And you're just going to want to press the button to the left of the number 1 on your keyboard. It's called the tilde. And we're going to get this menu. So what you're going to want to type in here is NET_GRAF or GRAPH space 1, and we'll get the netgraph menu. So as you can see right now, I'm getting around 45 FPS. And I'm in windowed mode, and that's specifically the reason why. And I'm also recording and have a bunch of stuff open on my computer, but that's besides the reason. Once you've done this, you'll be able to see your beat per second, and make sure, of course, you're not recording or you don't have any other windows open besides Counter-Strike and Steam. And you're going to want to just switch through your resolutions to see which one you're going to get the best FPS on. So I would say if you're getting around 100 FPS, that you're going to be perfect. So switch through your resolutions. If you're on 16:9, you have these resolutions, and you can click on them and click apply, and you're going to want to see there's two things. So when you switch your resolution, you're going to want to look down here on this counter where it says FPS, where it says the number right here. You're going to want this to be as high as possible, 1. And 2, these two numbers down here, this SB and VAR, you want them to not be yellow. When they're yellow, that means that the variation between what you're actually perceiving on the screen and what's actually happening are delayed by this specific value. So as you can see, my variation right now is about 3 milliseconds, which is really bad. And that's, of course, like I said, because I have tons of stuff open on my computer. On average, I get around 150 FPS and like a 0.02 variation. So you should have that. And next, what we're going to want to do to benchmark even further, once you've figured out which resolution you're going to play on, which resolution gives you the highest FPS and you feel comfortable with, because don't forget, if you're on the lowest resolution in the game, yeah, it might be, you might get a lot of FPS, but it might be very uncomfortable for you to play. So what we're going to want to do is open the console again, and if you can see down here, it says up -- 64.0s and CMD, the same thing, and they're both set to 64. What we're going to want to do is type in CL_CMD rate 1. We're going to type in CL_CMD rate 128. And then we're going to type in CL_upload, or not upload, update rate 128. And I'm going to go ahead and run my exact auto config file. Change my volume back. And what we're going to see if I was to restart the game is that when we're on about those two commands, okay, so there's two commands. This command right here and this command right here. And what they do is when you're on a 128 tick server, it allows you to actually it allows you to get the correct or the fastest update rate and the fastest download rates that you can get on your computer. So you want that obviously, so that you can have the fastest response time. And once you found your perfect resolution, I prefer go into like something like faceit.com, get into a game on a 128 tick server, and you're gonna go back to these two commands, enter them in, and you're gonna want to benchmark again. So once those two things are in, benchmark through your resolutions again and see what happens. So as you can see, I'm on 4:3, 1152 by 864, and even though I'm windowed, I could change this to the lowest resolution in the game, and I'm getting on average about 45 FPS, but I'll change to the lowest resolution in the game. Obviously, I'm going to get a lot more FPS. And even though I'm still going to be, losing frames quite rapidly because I have all this stuff open on my computer, it will help a little bit. And as you will see here, my window is microscopic on the screen. It's about 1/4, not even one third or 1/5 of my screen. Sorry, very late at night. So it's very small on my screen. You can barely even see anything, and it's getting around 60 FPS on average. So it's helped a lot to downscale my resolution. And as I said earlier, make sure that you do this a lot. Check your resolutions. Make sure it's also comfortable to play on, and that you're not losing frames with the variation settings. So use netgraph 1 to pull up this menu down here. You're going to use CMD rate 128 to set your command rate to 128 when you're on a 128 tick server, such as faceit.com, ESEA, or CEVO. And you're going to set your update rate to 128 as well. And if you watched my video on creating a config for CSGO, you will already have that in your config file and already set up. So if you want to go ahead and watch that video if you haven't, it'll help you out greatly. Other than that, that's all I wanted to show you guys in this video. I'm going to go play some Faceit, and I will see you guys next time. Welcome to TechSpace, and in this video we're going to be going over how to make the perfect CSGO crosshair. So I'm going to also make a video on how to make a view model, the best view model for you, and this is going to be how to make the best crosshair. So what you're going to want to do is go to Workshop, and in Workshop you're just going to want to type in the name of this map right here, Crash. So I just go to make this bigger, search, and just type in Crash, pop up. It's not. So go here and type in Crosshair. Now, once you type in Crosshair, the first thing that will pop up is Crash's Crosshair Generator, and this is what everybody uses to download or use their, or not to download, but to actually use the crosshair that they want. So you go here, you're going to start it with no bots, click go, and wait for it to load up. So once it loads up, we're going to go into what it actually takes to make the crosshair and what it means to have the best crosshair for you, because everybody has a different style, a different type of way that they play. As far as your view model, some people like the left side, the right side, the center, and your crosshair sort of goes with that in sync. So you want everything to be in sync and everything to be correct. So in this, we're gonna go over how to make the best crosshair for you and how to get to that point where you feel comfortable with your crosshair. So if this will load up, this is my first time loading it since I rebooted my operating system, so everything's pretty much running perfectly. If you have problems with your operating system or your computer is just running slow in general, check out my channel. I have other videos on how to help you have better PC performance. Okay, so I think we're getting in the game here. So once you're in here, you're just gonna want to go to whatever team you want. I picked terrorist because I like testing my crosshair with the AK. So I'm gonna go back here, and you can see on the walls there's just crosshairs everywhere, and you can get the weirdest crosshairs, and you just shoot at it, and it changes it for you. So there's literally tons of crosshairs, every type of crosshair you could possibly think. And again, you just shoot at it, it changes it for you. You can go over here, and it shows you the teams. Each player in the team and the crosshair that they use with it, they update it regularly, if I can speak right. There's a bigger one over here and more teams over here, so you can go ahead, pick the crosshair that you want, and I like picking Nick Bunyan's just because I like that it expands when you shoot, and I just change it to green. And once you're over here, you can click on your crosshair style and change that. There's tons of different crosshair styles. I use crosshair style 5, and I'm just gonna go to size, and you go down here to this menu, and you can change the size of it, thickness, the gap, and you can just experiment. So say I wanted this one, toggle the models back here, switch to your gun, wait for it to load because it's very laggy right now for some reason. It's because I'm recording. And you can just shoot and test your crosshair. Again, this is lagging, so just test your crosshair. You can go over here, and the bots will switch to over here, and you can get, sort of a different view. And you can go back again, change your crosshair. If I wanted to, create a bigger gap, go back, see how that does. Oh my god, that's horrible. Alright, well, that's basically how you test your crosshair. You can go over here, actually, and it shows you, you can do your hit or your spray powder control. And you can switch to your guns. Of course, there's a bunch of money to switch back and forth from different guns. And once you're done, click clear, go back, change your crosshair again, use something weird like this. And you also don't have to reload. So that's basically how you test your crosshair. There's tons of different crosshairs in here, and this is the best website that you can go to do this. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Once you're done creating your crosshair, what you're going to want to do is go to share crosshair, go into this go into the console, click copy. If this isn't popping up, what you're going to do is go to press escape, go to help and options, go to game settings, and go to enable developer console, and make sure this says yes. Exit out, and then click it again, and it will pop up. You're just going to want to highlight all of this code, copy it, and if you don't have a config file, I'll show you how to make one. If you do have a config file, then you know how to do it, and you're basically done with this video. But if you don't have a config file, I'm going to go over how to make that too. So once you're done, you've created your crosshair, copy it, close this out. You can exit out of the game. And now that we're exited out of Counter-Strike, I'm going to go to Steam. Now, once we have Steam open, we're going to go to Counter-Strike, go to right-click on Counter-Strike, go to Properties, go to Local Files, Browse Local Files. You'll get this window that pops up, and this is the file section for Counter-Strike. Now, you're going to want to go in CSGO, go to CFG here at the top, and you're going to want to take this top folder, AI, and you're going to want to drag it onto the desktop. But before you do that, you're going to want to open something like Notepad on your computer, take that code and copy it in there. So this is your crosshair. Now we're going to close out or minimize out Notepad. and copy this folder or this file AI, and you'll know it's a CFG file over here in the type. And what we're going to do with that is just paste it on our desktop. Let's paste it on the desktop, and we're going to rename it and name it auto config. And that's all you have to do. Click enter. Now you're going to open this, and if you don't have Notepad++, which you might not, you can download it. I'll put the link in the description for Notepad++, but you can just download that, or you can just use Notepad. Either way is fine. You're just going to delete everything inside this file. Click save. Then you're going to want to go to your Crosshair. Copy your Crosshair code that was in Notepad that you saved earlier. Paste that in to your config. Actually, I didn't get it pasted or copied. So copy it, paste it, and you're just going to want to save it. So now when you open your file on your desktop, you should have that config file, and it should have your Crosshair's content. So now what we're going to do is at the top here, just to make this better, we're just going to type in 2 forward slashes and put Crosshair. Save it, and now close it out, and see this file right here? What we're going to do is go back to local files, go to browse local files where we were, go back into CSGO, go back into CFG, and then we're going to take this config and paste it into this folder. Now, I already have one, so I'm not going to move this one. Yours won't pop up like this. It will automatically get thrown straight into this folder. Now, it'll say auto config right at the top here. If you have it sorted by name, because it starts with an A, it'll show up at the top. So, once you see this here, you're going to want to go back to Steam. You're going to want to go back to where you see your library in Counter-Strike. You're going to want to right click on it, click Properties, Launch Options, and make sure you put plus exec autoconfig.cfg. And that's basically how you're going to, it's going to call your config file when you load up Counter-Strike. So now every time you load up Counter-Strike, you will automatically have a Crosshair that you've customized. And if you want to save it, you just go back through, open up that auto config, delete the code that's in there for the Crosshair, and then replace the code with the new Crosshair that you want to use. So you can change it anytime you want, and you're just going to want to click OK. And if you don't want to do this part, you can just make sure the files in here load up. Make sure again that you have the developer console enabled within options. So if you go to game settings, developer console, it has to have yes here, and then once you're in Counter-Strike, click the tilde button, which is to the left of 1 on the keyboard. This will pop up. Type in exec auto config, and it will say it will show up that everything that, it will load the settings from that config file. I'm sorry. So basically, there are tons of different things that you can put in your config. This video was strictly to show you guys how to set up your Crosshair, so we're going to leave it at that. And I'm going to show a video, actually, a part 2 to this on how to do a view model. And I'm not going to go back through these settings, so it'll be part 2 on how to do your view model, how to get the perfect view model for you in Counter-Strike, and that's basically it. So in the next video, we'll go over view models and how to add that to your config, and after that, there'll be a part 3 where I'm going to go over the other settings that should be in your config, as well as the launch options for Steam that will make your Counter-Strike run a lot faster. So this is going to be a 3-part series, basically. If you stick around, you'll learn a lot of great things. Even if you've seen configs, if you know everything about configs, you'll learn a lot. I am, a professional when it comes to computers. I've been doing this for 13 years, so it's nothing new to me. optimizing computers, taking apart computers, building computers, programming. I can do all of that. I know what I'm doing, and nothing is malicious about any of this. And yeah, just as you stick around, we'll go over tons of different stuff about Counter-Strike and how to set it up and optimize it best for your computer. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in part 2. If you don't need part 2, that's fine. Just please subscribe to the channel, like the video if it helped. And if you stayed throughout the whole video, thank you very much. And I will see you next time. Welcome back to the Tech Space. This is part 2, and in this tutorial we're going to be going over how to make your view model and how to add that to your config file on CSGO. So what we're going to want to do is go to View Workshop when we have CSGO loaded up, and we're going to want to go to the search bar. Just type in view model, and go and, or you can click enter or click the search button right there. Now, the first thing you're going to see is view model generator crash. Same person that made the Crosshair generator, and you're going to want to go here and click this plus button that you'll see next to the picture. So once you've done that, you'll see it pop up in your workshop. To get to your workshop, go to play, offline with bots, workshop at the top, and you'll see the workshop maps that you have downloaded. What you're going to do is click on the one that you want to get to. We're doing view model generator, so we're going to click on that, click go, no bots, and let it load up. So it might take a second because it's the first time I've loaded it since I've got my or reloaded my operating system. So basically the same process with the code will happen during this process. So if you were in part 1, you've seen how we did the crosshair and put that into our auto config file. If you haven't seen that, I suggest going back and watching that video if you are missing any of that information. And you'll see how to make the auto config file and basically how that goes. So this is the second version, and we're going over the view model and how to put that code into your auto config file, which in turn will allow you to load that file and load your default options without having to worry about them going back to default every time you restart your game, or just a better way to play. So you can customize your player, your field of view, and everything to your personal want instead of using the defaults, which is what most people use, and most people don't like it. So they end up creating the auto config, which is of course what we're going over now. So if this will load up here, once we get in here, we're gonna see I picked terrorist just because I like using the AK. So I like using the AK to test what my view model I want it to look like. So what we're gonna do first is downscale this volume. What we're gonna do is there is the positioning of everything about your character. So you can put the gun upward, and that'll make your gun go up. You can go down, and as you can see, I went all the way down, so it put me back all the way up. So of course I don't want to play like that, at least. Next we have left and right, so you can put your gun towards the right, put your gun towards the left. You push these ends, it will do it the max that way. So this is max left, that's max right. It's max down, max up, and this is max forward and max backwards. So you can then go through that, and you can change your field of view as well. I use max field of view, and I use usually the gun all the way forward, and as far as this, keep it usually like medium right here. So the view model I like to use. You can also switch to left hand if you want, and there's also some pre-made ones over here that you can use. So that's basically it. If you make a pre-made one, make sure you do not click on desktop, couch, or classic, because then I'll set it to default again. And lastly, we have the view model movement. So I use default. When you move forward and backwards, you can see the character bobs, you can change that. So you can have highest. You can see my character is like moving a lot more when I walk. You can use default, which is just the default. Or you can use lowest, which you can barely tell that your player's moving. Most people use default. It's your preference. You want to feel the players walking or not. And then, of course, when you're done, you can go over here, pick different guns and see how you like your view model. If you don't like it, you can change it. And actually, I'm going to customize mine a little bit. So I'm going to put mine like this, bring it all the way forward, position it all the way down, put it up a little bit. Max field of view, default movement, right hand. I'm going to save it. So you're going to go to show commands, go to this code, copy it just like we did in the last video, open our auto config file, and you're going to go to the bottom, put the 2 slashes like we did up here for the crosshair. We're going to type view model, and this is just to let you know that this code is for that view model. Paste it in there, save it, and you're done. So make sure that this file is again in the CSGO. So if you go right click it, go to properties, local files, browse local files, as we did in the last tutorial, CSGO, config, auto config, make sure these settings are the same as these settings. So that's how you make your config file for CSGO. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Welcome back to Tech Space, and this is part 3 of making the perfect Counter-Strike config and the perfect setup. So what we're doing in this video is we're going to be going over what are your launch options, and this is going to be a little bit of a smaller video or shorter video, just because launch options are pretty simple, and people on YouTube, you know, that are inexperienced with technology and computers in general, try to make it seem like there's like this big complicated thing with your launch options and what you should have in there. So for one, I want to say, just to back that up really fast, your refresh rate for your monitor is automatically detected by your video card. So when you load up a game, your video card will automatically tell the game, and the game will automatically know the refresh rate of your monitor, as well as most of the other things that you're putting in as launch options. So when you're putting in, you know, your refresh rate and the tick rate, so like when you're in a game on ESEA, Faceit, or some server that's 128 tick, yeah, you're gonna get 128 tick regardless if you type in tick rate 128. So what I'm trying to say is, when you go back into matchmaking and you're getting on a 64 tick server, and you know, you have the tick rate 128 in your config, you're just creating more problems for your computer, because the computer is just going to have to override that command in your config and say, hey, look, we can't support 128. Now I'm going to have to override this 128 command and change it to 64, because I can only do 64 because that's what matchmaking on Counter-Strike is. So that's just a quick backup of what I was saying. As far as the tick rate, as far as the refresh rate in the monitor, and a lot of that other hardware stuff, the game will automatically detect it. You don't have to put in those extra steps to do nothing, basically. Now, what we want to do for Counter-Strike is, or all I'm actually... Sorry about that. So, all you actually need in your launch options for any game are these 3 things right here, along with this plus exec autoconfig.cfg. Now, as long as you have -no joy for the joystick controls to be turned off when you're gaming on a Steam, as long as you have -high to set it as high priority, and -no vid to not show the starting trailer, along with your auto config, if you have one for that game, you are going to be fine. Now, if you go ahead and add other commands, you can, and you can see how much they help. If they do help, or you know, have the placebo effect of thinking that they actually do help, um, you're completely wrong. And I have no clue why I have this in here. Actually, I put that in there to test it and see if it would help, because I watched a video on it. Benchmarked the PC, and I actually did this on 3 different PCs, and it did not do it did not do anything. So, don't add a whole bunch of commands that do nothing. Keep these, that's fine. And the rest of the commands, as far as Counter-Strike goes, we will be going over in the next video, because they are part of your config file. So your launch options should simply be this for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Do not put anything else in here. Your hardware, your software, they all work together. Your games know the refresh rate of your monitor. They know how many cores your CPU has. You don't have to force your CPU into some mode, like, no. As long as you have this right here, msconfig, type that in, mscofig, and you'll get this menu. On Windows computers, go to boot, go to advanced options, number of processors, pick that. Scroll this all the way down to the highest number of processors that you have. Tick PCI lock. Make sure maximum memory is unticked. Click OK, apply, OK. Restart your computer. You're fine. Don't add anything else in here. That's my point. And if you have any questions, concerns, or you think I'm wrong, feel free to put it in the comment section, and I would be glad to argue with you over it. But that's basically it. If you, I sort of enjoy. If you have, I mean, not enjoy, but if you have, you know, you think you've benchmarked a PC and you've seen that this command helped, I'd be glad to be proven wrong. So, you know, if you have any questions, concerns, arguments, anything, put it in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. And we're going to be going over how to completely complete your config and all the CSGO commands that you actually need in order to have the equal advantage as every other player. So we're going to go over those in the next tutorial. I'll see you there. Please like and share the video and subscribe. Welcome back, and this is going to be the last video of this tutorial series, and we're going to be going over basically wrapping up everything about our config. So this far we've made our crosshair, we've made our view model, we've made our config file, we've did our launch options, and now we're just going to go over some extra things that will help you out when you're playing Counter-Strike. So things that you can do prior to playing, things that are in the game options that may reset, just things that we need to go over. So instead of going over one of these at a time, I'm just going to show you what I have in mind. So as you can see, I have the view model, my crosshair, and up here I have everything else. So right here, and actually we'll do this together, help organize my code a little bit. We have line 1, and in line 1 I could just I could just as easily open this in Notepad, so it'd be a little bit easier for you guys to see. I think it's not that much difference in Notepad++. Again, if you want Notepad++, it's a lot better. Go download it, Notepad++, .net or something like that. Just Google it. First line we have volume 1. And now what this does on CSGO, which is just makes that the volume is always set to 1, and that's so that, you know, you get your best quality volume. If you want to turn it down, you can just turn it down as you go. I have a mix amp, so I always have mine at 1, then I can, you know, use my mix amp to turn it down as I go. So this is the volume. Sorry. Volume in game. And if you put a dash dash, that means comment. So you can make comments that don't mess with the code. So next we have voice scale. And this is just the voice of other players. Next we have the HUD scale, which is just the size of the HUD. And next we have something called CL command rate or CMD rate. And we're going to want to set that as 128. So this is just the command rate. Next we have the CL update rate, and this is just the rate at which the game updates. So update rate, and you're going to want to put all these in your auto config, and none of these are, as you've seen in my last video, you know what I'm talking about. These are all commands that are needed. So next we have FPS max 0. This ensures that your FPS is not capped. Alright. Next we have disable message of the day, which disables the message of the day when you join a game. Next we have mix ahead, which just basically gives us a better overall, can't think of the word, it makes the footsteps and everything, you know, from when players move or when they reload, it makes it better in a higher quality. So it's just higher quality audio. Next we have Crosshair sniper width, just ensures that the width of the op or any sniper is as thick as possible. Next we have team ID overhead, which allows you to see your teammates' triangle pointers above their heads through walls. And that's very helpful, and that's actually a new command. So CL show team equipment, which just shows other teams' equipment, or it shows your team's equipment, I'm sorry. And this will show up above the person's head, but there's a trick to this one. This is actually the only one, since it's newer. If you want this one, you have to open the console in CSGO, type plus, and then type in the rest of this. So you're going to want to type in plus CL underscore show underscore team underscore equipment. And that'll show you it'll show you your team's equipment, what they have, grenades above their head, which is very helpful in some situations. I don't use it much, but it is a new command and it's very cool. So mat monitor gamma, it makes your brightness as bright as it can be. So just brightness control. We have HUD player count, show count. It just shows the player count in a simple way. Player count simple. Radar scale is just the scale of the radar, which is just the size of the radar compared to the rest of the screen. We have radar always centered, 0, so that way I'm not always in the center of the radar. That way I have a better view of the whole map. So off, or I'll just put center of radar value. And if you see a value that's 0, it usually means that there's 0 or 1. So in programming, in any type of programming, 0 means off, 1 means on. So we have this always centered 0, that means that it's off. We have the interp ratio and the interp, which you're just going to want to keep these both untagged, but put them in. Lastly, well, not lastly, but next we have rate, 128,000, which is just the refresh rate of the server or something like that. It's gonna put refresh rate. It's either the refresh rate of server or something to do with the tick rate. I don't know, just put it in. Next we have use by menu, which means that when you press the use key, you open the by menu, which obviously you don't want, so that's off. So, sorry, open by menu with use key off. Raw input, which just makes sure that you're not using any type of mouse acceleration, and I'm sorry. So it makes sure that you're not using any type of mouse acceleration. I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong, but who cares? And that there's not any type of outside program trying to mess with, how your mouse is moving, and that exactly where you point with your mouse is exactly where you'll shoot with your mouse. If you have any questions, post it in the comment section below. Like the video, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.